Now to the bizarre story out of Kansas City. Three guys found dead outside of a friend's home after they'd all gone over to watch a Kansas City Chiefs game with him. And the living friend, whose home they'd gone to, apparently never contacted the police. Apparently claiming days later that the three men, identified as 38-year-old Ricky Johnson, 37-year-old David Harrington, 36-year-old Clayton McGinney, froze to death outside of his home. The autopsy results are currently pending, but as of now, police are saying there are no signs of foul play and are not treating this as a homicide investigation. Joining us now is John Picerno, the attorney for the homeowner. Thanks a lot for coming on the program. Appreciate it. All right, so a lot of people, particularly family members of those who died, have a lot of questions for your client. What does he say happened here?
Well, at this time, he doesn't say anything different than what he's told police previously, that he has no knowledge of what happened to those young men after they left his home.
Let me read you. This is from one of his friends, from one of the friends of the one of the people who died, who said on Facebook, "The man was inside his home alive while my friends were dead in his yard for Lord knows how long. They were all hanging out since after the game Sunday. He knew people were looking for them. He read messages of people searching for him on Tuesday. My husband banged on his door for 20 minutes. My friend banged on the door and then busted a window and yelled and announced her presence while she's inside, and still nothing from him. Then the cops come 10 minutes later, and he comes out nonchalant in his boxers with an empty wine glass in his hand. Nothing is adding up. Dave, Clay, and Ricky need and deserve justice. They didn't deserve this." Your response?
Sure. Even if all of those things are true, that doesn't mean he had anything to do with what happened to those young men. Obviously, three men who die all at the same time. And there's no signs of foul play whatsoever from the police. There's nothing to indicate that Jordan had any involvement whatsoever in their deaths. I spoke with the prosecutor this morning, as a matter of fact. The toxicology reports are due in a couple of weeks, and we can all speculate as to how they died. But as far as my client being involved, Jordan didn't have anything to do with their deaths. When they left his home after the game, he didn't even really know which door they went out. They were in the backyard. He doesn't use that particular door. He goes out in the front. And so he had no knowledge that they were out there until, Tuesday, when he was told that they were out there.
And what of the claims from the families that they were trying to contact him and he wouldn't respond and they were going to the house, et cetera?
Sure. I don't know about whether or not they went to the house or tried to contact him, but he was home sporadically. I know another allegation I've seen floating out there is that he would have had to put the dogs out, that the dogs would have went in the backyard, and that's untrue as well. The dogs stay at his dad's house, which his dad lives in a different location, and that's where the dogs were. He had no reason to go in the backyard. As you can see there, we've had recent snowstorms and that kind of thing. So he had absolutely no knowledge that they were out there. They were his friends. They were at his house socializing. If he had found them out there or if they were in danger, he would have called the police and tried to help them. He's a highly educated guy. He's a good guy. He has a full-time job. In no way would he try to harm his buddies.
And to be really clear, he didn't know that there were three dead, frozen friends outside his house.
Correct. No idea. I mean, if you didn't look in your backyard, how would you know that?
All right. John Picerno, thank you so much for coming on the program. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
Let's get back with the panel. Geraldo Rivera, Ashleigh Banfield, and Jesse Weber. All right, Ashleigh, it's cold where they are there. You grew up in incredibly cold weather as well. What do you make of what Mr. Picerno is saying there?
I grew up in -30, so I don't think Kansas City's cold at all. However, look, I get what Mr. Picerno is saying, and that it does make sense. I once rented a dumpy house that I never saw the backyard at all. I did, however, see cars in my driveway, and those friends had vehicles still in the driveway for 2 days after the game. So that's a hard one to sort of put my head around, because if he indeed is going out that front door to and from wherever he goes every day, isn't he calling the friends to say, "Come get your cars"? That didn't happen. And I'm very, very concerned about what Kaylee Laturion said in her Facebook. They broke in to the house calling his name, and he didn't answer, and they're in his house, and they find the bodies, and then 10 minutes later he's coming out with a wine glass in his underwear. All of that very uncomfortable.
Jesse?
It's strange. I don't think we learned too much from this interview. I mean, he emphasized something that I thought was interesting. All three died presumably at the same time. That's very curious. And if they had cell phones on them, if it was a case they got locked out of the house or in trouble, they didn't contact anybody else. There's a lot of unanswered questions here. And I'm not surprised from this attorney that we didn't get those answers, because he is representing his client in a really difficult situation right now.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.